Welcome back to another Phill-osophy Arc episode. In this episode, I'm covering the art of business. There's quite a difference between people who are businessmen and people who are not. The people who are not will go to work, and when they clock in, they're on the job. When they clock out, they're done. They go home and then they go on about the rest of their day. But for a businessman, the job is never truly over. We can't clock off and go home because we have our phone in our pockets and our clients will call us and book us and ask us little tidbits and questions all the time. So we're always going to be thinking as a businessman, even when we're off the clock. That can sometimes be a difficult thing for us because separating from the work is a great thing. And when the work never truly stops, we can never truly clock off. Another important fact of business is there's always someone to meet, some networking to be done, a business deal to be organised, or a new acquaintance to be made. I've covered this in a previous episode, and networking is a huge importance for business. To be able to network and meet anybody and chat to everybody you meet, some strangers are just one conversation away from being a client, as I like to think. And other times we could meet someone who might be a supplier of goods that we need or looking for a service that we have. And or just looking to be a LinkedIn basically to other people of the same service. It's like if I can't do the job, I can provide at least 4 phone numbers for people who can. So networking, huge point. Another one is the business persona. Is about being a businessman. You get into businessman mode, or I do. I get into businessman mode and then I engage with the client. And then when I go home, I turn off businessman mode and the rest of the day is mine. Except if I have to pick up that phone and organise a booking or a client needs or something, Another part of business is that the business will always grow, or it will always need to grow. When I first started out here, I was charging very low rates, maybe just under 1/3 or probably 1/4 of what I charge my clients now. Though now I don't use my clients' products and tools and things, and I use my own. So supplying myself with my own products and my own tools and my own cleaning cloths, all that, I can charge high because I've got all that sorted. The client doesn't have to think about a thing. And I will always have what is needed for the job and more. Another part of business would have to be upgrading. Upgrading our repertoire, our skill set, our tools and items and products and our services offered or goods bought and sold, It's about upgrading the business to go higher and higher, like right up there. Up there is anything we can conceive. Up there is the future of income and business. Hell, we could even think about life. If life is like business, how do we make the business better, How do we make us better? And that is a good question. One should ponder upon. Because increasing our business quality, including services, skills, techniques, speed as well. If we can get it done quicker, why not charge more? We could do a 1-hour job and have it done in 27 minutes. When other people can get it done in an hour. So of course, folks, if you get too good at your craft and it's becoming real brain dead easy, like you could do it with 17 bullets in your head, charge more. Don't stay the same price. As you get better, price gets better. And then you go up there. So remember that as an important fact. As you upgrade, so does the business. Charge more for the business. Charge more for the services. Things like goods don't really increase in price unless the quality of the goods changes. What I hate about some people's business is they lower the quality and they increase the price. Or the price stays up and the quality goes down. They just say, it's the same old good product. Yeah, right. Is it going to have more milk and chocolate in it, or is it going to have more like canola oil? Is the metal container going to be plastic in the future, Or is it going to be quality stainless steel metal, you know? One can take 2 hits and one can take every single hit until the thing fails to pressure and crack stress, you know? I take a stainless steel water bottle any day over a plastic or rubber water bottle. Any day. Something to think about. The other part of a business is that you always got to be on top of your game. Ahead of the curve in a way. You got to be the best at what you are. I mean, even if you're going to be the best for just yourself. I started with everybody else's tools and cleaning products, and I had none of my own things at the very start. I was just cleaning for other people with their stuff. Now I clean for other people with my stuff, and I charge way, way more. But I also do have liability insurance and other things on top, which I've got to take care of and pay for to take care of my business. Ensure myself that if anything goes wrong, I've got it covered. So for one job I had, they asked me for liability insurance, and I said yes, as long as the price is right. And for them, what they offered was above what I was asking, so the price was right. And that, in the long run, was enough to offset the cost of my liability insurance. Which, at the end of the day, for my other clients as well, it makes me a more trustworthy business, that if anything does go wrong, it's going to be all sorted. That's another big part of business. Guaranteeing when shit hits the fan, so to speak. Another part of business is that it gets us in the mindset of like upgrading and evolving things, streamlining the job or the business need or the service or the product, from like ordering it to getting it to that person's door. You know, we're going to streamline the process. Eventually streamlining will bleed into our own lives. And then we start streamlining our lives, which is how I got here, folks. I moved out of home 6 years ago, more than 6 years ago now. And I had 1 carload of stuff. 2 weeks worth of clothes, some pot plants, a musical instrument, and a bicycle and a computer. Now I have all this nice art that I like to collect and enjoy and stare at on my days off. Beautiful landscapes with a source of water, you know, something you catch a fish in. Life is about upgrading, just as business is about upgrading too. And we have to remember that, because if we don't stay upgrading and on the up and the evolution to the future, well, we get left behind in the dust by other businesses who are doing it better than us. So what I'm trying to say is refine the craft, whether it's life or business or friendships or relationships or family or ourselves. Refine the method, refine the process, refine the A to B, and then sit on the top of the peak of achievement. Take a little moment and look down to where you've come from, where the business has come from, where the evolution to there to here has come from. Because, folks, running a business is the greatest and most sometimes stressful thing I've ever done, though it's given me a lot of achievements, happiness, well-being, confidence, consistency, hard work, kept me off the streets, as they say. And it's brought me a lifestyle where I can really enjoy whatever I want. And I do love that. But there's days where it's backbreaking and it sucks and we get sick or injured, or our body just doesn't want to get out of bed that day and we've got to get up and whip the horse, you know. There's days where it's not easy. But on the days where I have a client that will call me in for lunch and make me 1 sandwich, if not 2, and a cup of coffee or a juice, wow, I cherish those days. Business is a great journey, and it can teach us a lot about ourselves and our methods and get us questioning how to make it better and bigger and more awesome and more profitable and more refined. This is Phill-osophy Arc. I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Hey, future racer here. If you're finding the Phill-osophy Arc series inspirational, educational, entertaining, humorous, or it's giving you a little smile, think about liking and subscribing. If you have a family member, loved one, or friend who you think could equally benefit from this series, think about sharing it with them.